Hey, Lab Code Agents, we've got Pavel with us with Virtudesk, and today we'll be touching on how to train your virtual assistants. Dude, you made out a really nice presentation for us.
We did, yeah, we did.
So
Thank you, Tristan, for having me here, man. Appreciate it.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you're on, and we've got a few people on from all over the United States. We got Omaha, Santa Barbara, Orlando, Indiana, Beverly Hills. That's close to me.
that's
South
your home turf,
Carolina,
yeah.
dude.
Germany.
Scottsdale, Germany. Oh, who's out of Germany? Michael. What's up,
Michael
Michael?
is in Germany, yeah.
Yeah, Michael's a buddy of mine. I love that guy. Thanks for being on, buddy. Lenny from Manhattan Beach. And is there a recording for how to hire? Yes, there is a recording for how to hire a virtual assistant. Before we get started, let me find that one up on.
Share YouTube. You have a YouTube right there
Yep, let me
that
grab
you
that.
can
It's on
share.
Lab Code Agents. And then I'll grab that. We just actually did that. How to hire. No, we did the virtual assistant versus in-house.
I mean, for those who want to know about how to hire, I can actually touch base on a few points, just a few minutes on that, just to give you some, ideas.
No,
You know,
no, 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 no. Let's have them go to
webinar
let's
to
have it go there.
YouTube.
I found it. So let me
There we
just
go.
on here and then we'll get going on this part. All right. So if you need the recording for this one or you want to watch part one of this, I'm going to put it in the chat box. I just did, and I'll throw it into Facebook as well. Pavel, I'm going to hand this over to you, my friend, so we can get going.
All right, sounds good. Let me share my screen very quick, and we're gonna do part two. Part two, how do you actually train a VA? So you went through the process of, let's assume you guys went through the process of hiring, through the process of vetting, you happy, you actually found somebody, you found that perfect golden nugget you've been looking for. How do you make sure that person actually can work for you, and what do you do? So we've put up together at Virtudesk the VA training trifecta, which includes video, audio, and written. So you should probably start recording files. What I did personally, I use WhatsApp as an app. And I like to record audios of my instructions on how to do things. I hate typing stuff. So that's what I do. Like, I'm driving, I got a revelation, I need to, record it. So I just put a recording button and record an audio and create a file and send it to the VA. However, you need to have systems in place and written systems in place where you can, outline everything that needs to be done. An outline is a great way of organizing things. I actually learned it in law school because we had to do outlines every day for all cases. And you know that too, Tristan, because you went to law school. I know that.
That was fun.
Yeah, I know, right? So outline, and basically to the outline, the written outline is basically the backbone of it, like the bones. Then you put the meat on it. The meat, like the muscles, that's the audio, and the video, that's basically all the fun stuff. So that's how we train them. That's how you should be training your VA in the first place, by figuring out the trifecta. I know you, Tristan, have a different way of training your VAs, right?
Yeah, so you voice record it. I
I
actually
do.
write it all out based on what I want first.
Yeah.
So I start with written, and then
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I either make a video for it or I leave it written so that I can put pictures in there, or I can explain deeper into it. And then once I hire the virtual assistant, they know exactly what process to take. And then more importantly, here's the best part for me. They can add to that document as we grow and as they understand this better than how I'm showing them.
That's what I'm saying. The outline, basically, the written outline of how your process works. Because again, your company, your real estate company, or whatever company you guys run, is always work in progress. You can change, you modify, you pivot. Like recently with the recent pandemic situation, a lot of companies pivoted, and things are actually run way different than they used to be, like 2 months ago. So that's why you need to have a good written systems in place, like Tristan said. And I like to add audio, and also like to add video. Um, so this is just how do you train a person. I'm going to just do that. Let's say you have somebody who is an admin. So how do you train that? And we've spelled it out right here. So how you can train the admin. Again, you need to create the detailed checklist of daily tasks. Very important to have that routine spelled out. If you have your admin, do your MLS input, make sure you check with your MLS if you can add an admin to your MLS roster. We here at Northwest Multiple Listing Service can actually add a virtual assistant to the MLS roster as a non-agent, like a clerical staff, which means you don't have to share the password for the MLS. That VA will have his or her own password, and they have to go through class online on how to complete the MLS input, how to navigate, and how to actually make sure that everything is done right. So that's an extra help. I'm sorry, my throat a little bit. Yeah.
Are you dying?
I hope not.
You want to get some water?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
No. Yeah.
All right, cool. Continue.
Yeah. So, the MLS is one thing. Then I suggest you teach your VAs on transaction documents updates, on how to, let's say, update your client on status of the case of your, not status of the case, status of the transaction. The way to do it is basically create a plan of when the transaction, the keystones of the transaction, what happens, and I've seen that different brokerages have different way of running it, but the way it usually I see is more preferred by clients is that when the VA provides information on a weekly basis to the client about the status of the transaction, of what's going on, and that kind of keeps your seller or buyer in the loop, where at the same time you can, you can be doing other things. Somebody's anonymous is asking, will we get a copy of this? Yes, anonymous, you can get a copy of this, and at the end I'll show you how to get a copy of this.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just to give you, and how do you train somebody on marketing? Let's say you need somebody who's going to be doing your marketing stuff. I know, Tristan, you have a lot of interesting stuff there about marketing. You could probably share better stuff, but this is just a list of things that we've come up with on how our VAs are being trained. We use Canva, but some people use Adobe, use Photoshop. So this pretty much explains how to train. But again, your VA needs to have a good eye for marketing, good understanding, and it's kind of hard to find somebody. Yeah.
I'm going to steal your screen here.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
I'm going to show the same thing I showed last time.
Yeah, you have a killer presentation right there.
Yeah, so I'm going to be very specific. We hired a virtual assistant for YouTube, right? And you can see our YouTube channel has blown up. So has mine, because we're doing a great job with it now because I have somebody running it. We outlined this, and when I mean we is me. So I outlined this. I took time to write it all out, and you can see I was very meticulous in the steps, like to the point of saying step number 1, open up YouTube page with Lab Coat Agent's credentials, right? Number 2, click on the top right LCA logo and choose My Channel. Look, I didn't want to leave it up to them to see what their knowledge was of uploading or not uploading information to YouTube. When I interviewed this person, they seemed really, really down to understanding everything about YouTube, but I still didn't want to risk it. So what I did is I outlined this from every step onto getting a little bit more detail, as you can see, and then getting a little harder into it, going to steps they need to be taking here, and then tags. And then now they're growing it and making it better and explaining things to me that I didn't even know on YouTube, which is beautiful because that's where I want to be, right? I want to create this outline, and then at the end, I want them to add more stuff to it. Like, dude, I didn't even know about the bell. I didn't
Oh,
know
you
that.
gotta have it. Yeah, the bell is. Yeah.
I didn't know I was supposed to tell people to click on the damn bell so that my video then shows up in their email every day.
Yep.
But what happens is you create this outline, however you want to create it. You can be like Pavel, voice it, right? You
Hmm.
can record it like we're doing right now, or I love to write it. And that's just me. But
Which you
I
can
read it.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can write it, or you can, like, let's say, here's the thing. I'm more of a like high D personality. When I drive, I have something come up in my mind. I don't have no way of writing it down. So what I do, I record an audio of my thoughts and send the file to my VA, and she can put it on paper. You know.
Nice. I like that. I think I'm going to
Yeah.
start doing that, dude. That's such a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
What I do with one of my virtual assistants is actually I just text her. I voice text her. I'm
Hmm.
like, hey, can you remind me to do this? Hey, can you add this over here, please? Or hey, can you do this? Because or else I'll forget and my calendar's all over the place. There's a
Exactly.
question from Thomas, and Thomas, I want to answer this so everybody hears it because it's a question that was a good question. Thomas is saying, Tristan, are all your VAs from the Philippines or are you using from other areas of the world? Thomas, right now, all of my virtual assistants are from the Philippines. And at one point, I did have them spread out a little bit. I had one from Pakistan, one from Bangladesh, and then I also had one from the United States, which is cool. It was too pricey for me. So I shifted over to all from the Philippines. And then what I did is I got one head virtual assistant to help me out with the rest of the virtual assistants that we have now, so that she's my go-to person. And I know that she's got the right system. She understands the world that I come from, the tech world, right?
Hmm.
That she can then express our concerns and organizations to everybody else that's involved. So that's how we run it.
Exactly. And again, the Philippines, we actually, for my other company, we've looked for people outsourced in different parts of the world for different tasks, specifically for more of a more of a tech people, the developers, like software developers, we've hired in Russia, Ukraine, India. But the main problem usually is the language. Regardless, how well they know it, there's still like accent going on. And frankly, I mean, thankfully, I speak Russian myself, so I can communicate with the developers in Russia and Ukraine. But if somebody's looking for more of a menial tasks or admin, Philippines is a better way to go because of the English language,
Yeah.
and it's more of a, how do you say, more of a westernized mentality.
Mhm.
Because from all Asian countries, Philippines, I think, is the only country I know that has more of that Western influence, because from our GIs when they used to be there, and exposure to the Western culture. So that kind of helps with a lot of things,
I agree.
But
I agree.
yeah,
Let me touch on a couple of things here that I have
yeah,
on the chat box and some questions, and then we'll go back to your slide.
sure.
Let's start with Pinky. Ted, is the YouTube list available anywhere? I'll probably make it available next week on my newsletter. If you're part of a Brilliant Tribe, I'll send it out through there. Let me just grab that link. And then Pinky's saying, can you, same thing with the YouTube list. Okay, I'll make it available through a Brilliant Tribe. Paula said, Pavel, this one's for you.
Okay.
She started with your company,
Hmm.
Virtudesk,
Hmm.
2 weeks ago. So
Oh, good. Welcome aboard.
I love that. So
Yeah, welcome aboard, Paula.
let me see another YouTube one. Thanks, Pinky. I'll post it up. Where did I find her? I found her on Virtudesk, actually. That's why we're doing this with Pavel. We have all of our virtual assistants, except for one, are from Virtudesk. So they're really good. And then we just keep on going there. Say,
And
hey, Pavel.
you just got
Yeah, we
Gabriel.
just picked up another person for
Yeah,
our new division of LCA. It's LCA Elements, which should be coming out in July. But what we do
he's good.
typically is, yeah, Gab is good. So what we
Yeah.
do typically is I reach out to, let's say, Virtudesk, and I say, hey, Pavel, I need this person. I need a graphics designer, and I need them now. Can you find me 2 or 3 that we can interview? So same thing with video. Pavel, I need somebody who can edit. He finds 2, 3 people for me. Pavel, I need somebody who can do my transactions for me. I need an admin, or I need this or that. That's what I typically do. with them. And then let me put up the link, guys, to the newsletter. Go ahead and sign up for the newsletter. Next week, I'll throw that YouTube.
Tribe. I'm getting those emails, bro.
Dude,
The tribe.
Dude, I've got 50,000 people on it. So
Yeah.
it's a really good one. Then let me go to the next questions. I'm not a member of the Brilliant Tribe. Got it. Just put up the link there, guys. It's on the chat box. It's a bit.ly link. Just sign up. Pam says, where do you get these VAs and how much do you pay? I'll answer 2 more questions and then we'll go back to your slides. What do you pay, Pavel? I know you could do part-time or full-time. What's that?
Part-time, if it's an admin, it's part-time $9.60 an hour. If it's an full-time, $8.60 an hour. I'm gonna share the link.
Got it. And then a question about English. It hasn't been a challenge for me. If it's really important to you, what you need to do is when you're interviewing these 2 or 3, because they line up 2 or 3 or 4 for you, you need to talk to them. And like I do, I normally just talk to them and I say, hey, have you seen any movies lately? What do you do for fun? What social media platform do you like? And I like to engage with them just with regular talk. So I can just hear how they talk and the hobbies that they have. That's important to me because then I can understand, do they grasp the knowledge of the English language better than others, right? And if that's important to you,
it is.
Ask those questions. So I know for a lot of people it is. For most of the people it is for me too. But guess what? My editor for YouTube doesn't speak English that great, and I don't really care because his graphics and his stuff on YouTube is insane.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right. So I don't care that much. But if you're going to be talking to the rest of my team, if you're going to be engaged with like Pavel, then you got to speak English well. So yeah, it just depends on what you need them for. Pavel, back to you. Let's go back to the awesome slides that you were having.
Yeah. And as far as English, let me just touch base so people know. Philippines is a major outsource hub for Fortune 500 companies. They have call centers for Chase, American Express, Bank of America, Capital One. They have IT Park. It's called IT Park in Cebu, where it's all from major banks, like huge park of buildings where you see the names Bank of America, Chase, Comcast, and you walk around, you feel like you're in the United States, but this is actually all support centers for all those major Fortune 500 companies. So we do hire people from those call centers. And when I was there, what I actually did, I'll tell you, I went to Starbucks, sat and I saw people hanging out because they go from on their lunch break, just approach and talk to them, say, hey, you guys want to get another job? Yeah.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. Pricing US dollars, $9.50 an hour if you get a part-time, right? Admin. There's different prices for it. Pavel, are full-time VAs that are proficient in WordPress, Adobe, any more expensive than any other $8.64?
They probably would be a little bit more. Because of the, special skills they have, specifically if it's a WordPress, it requires a little bit more techy, but we can probably get it's not going to be more than $10 an hour. I'll tell you that.
Well, also Ted, here one thing, and then you can show your slides. Sorry, I keep on holding you back, dude. Ted, there's something that I learned over the last 11 years of using a virtual assistant, and that's if I want to get the best in class, then I'm going to be paying more for it, but still significantly less than if I was going here in the United States and hiring somebody. So if I'm going to hire the best marketing person, I'm going to go to Pavel and say, Pavel, I want you to find me the best marketing person you've ever seen in your entire life. I want him to have a degree in marketing, right? I want him to have this, this, and this. And I'll pay them whatever the wage is for somebody like that in the Philippines. And chances are, if you go and find them, you're going to be paying anywhere between $12 to $15 an hour if they're like amazing rock stars like you've never seen before. And here, you'd have to be paying somebody like that anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000 a year, which is significantly less than what you're paying. If you go,
absolutely. I mean, basically, we've run the math, and it's probably going to be about, for a VA, for a full-time VA, probably going to cost about 17, 18,000 a year, not more than 20. Where if you were to hire somebody, let's say in the US for that, you're looking at about, let's say hourly is one thing, but don't forget when you hire somebody hourly, you have to also pay FICA tax, you have to pay payroll tax, you have to provide infrastructure. So you're looking at about, probably about $60,000 a year savings. That's very significant for $60,000 a year. Imagine what actually it can do to your marketing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Very true, my friend. All right, go back to your slides
Looks like we have a question from Samantha.
Can they teach me to provide them with videos and digital content that they will need to produce the social media marketing and email? Okay. So at that point, Samantha, if you want somebody to teach you that, you'd have to go to Pavel and say, hey, Pavel, I need somebody that is a master on TikTok, master of Facebook and Instagram. And I need for them to be so amazing that they could actually show me how to do this stuff and not just post for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could totally do that.
we had people do that. We have actually some VA teach our clients how to use TikTok. So, but some agents can still figure out how to use TikTok, and for some of them, it's pretty like overwhelming, the TikTok. So I know some VAs, what they do, they post a TikTok, agent records a video, sends it to VA edits it, makes it funny, makes it nice, and posts it on their TikTok. So agent can actually promote it, and yeah, we've had it before, especially when the pandemic hit. And I'll tell you the story. When the pandemic hit in March, we had one of the big clients we have. They're spending about $1 million a month on Facebook ads. So they cut down that $1 million a month budget on Facebook. But they actually invested more in TikTok as far as like the content on TikTok, and they're generating leads off of TikTok, real estate leads.
Yeah, I'm seeing that more and more, man.
Yeah.
Instagram and TikTok, I think those are the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the go-to right now. And Facebook's doing well, but I've noticed there's been a shift a little bit, and nobody's paying attention to Google as much anymore when it comes to real estate leads. And
correct,
there's some opportunities, man. I definitely see that. But look, guys, if you're interested in hiring somebody that can run your social media, or if you want to learn more about it, just he'll give you a slide. And also, I'm going to plug myself here, Pavel.
All right.
If you want to learn about TikTok, I made a great video for Instagram for beginners, and I'll drop it into the chat box right now. All right.
Do it.
There. All right. Back to you, Pavel. Let's go.
Back to me. All right. So as we've talked how you can train marketing, admin, and guys, if you missed that, if you need the slides, I will provide you a number where you can text and you'll be able to get those slides. Okay, so they are going to be available, and I promised we'll get them to you today after the webinar, so you don't have to write it down or take screenshots. Okay, so how you train somebody to be an amazing transaction coordinator. Again, you need to explain to VA how to write and update offers. I actually have an agent in the brokerage who doesn't write any offers at all. The guy sells multi-million-dollar homes, but he never writes up an offer or touches any kind of paperwork. He taught his VA how to do it. And when he's on what he does, he's showing a house. He calls VA on either Skype or anything, or dictates the terms of the offer. So she goes into his MLS, types it up, sends it to him for review. He reviews it, sends it to a client, boom. But you need to basically spend some time and explain because even though your VA may have prior training on TC work, they're different from state to state. Even in the state of California, I'm sure there are different MLSs and where the forms may be different. So it's a good idea to spend some time on educating on how to actually navigate through your state-specific forms. So explain what what the offers are. They know basic stuff, most of them. They know like what earnest money, they know what inspection is, but state-specific forms need to be probably explained better terms. Thankfully, our MLS has a video recorded on how to do it, how to use a transaction desk, how to use Authentisign. So VAs who actually what VAs at Virtudesk, we provide them those videos, and when that's what they actually trained on. They trained on Northwest Multiple Listing Services videos on how to do it. But let's say you were an agent in Virginia or California or New York, it's totally different. So you need to spend some time on teaching the forms around. So you need to provide a VA information about lenders, escrow, title companies who you actually usually work with. That way, when you are, let's say putting a deal together, the VA already knows who's going to be the lender, who's going to be the escrow company or title company, so they can contact them on your behalf and pretty much open escrow. They can request title, stuff like this. That's what needs to be done. Make sure that you give access to or management or calendar, some sort of calendar management going on. It either can be a dot loop or either can be Google's calendar. I don't care what you have, but some sort of understanding of upcoming deadlines. And the calendar, and obviously that you need to, when you do the onboarding, you need to explain how you manage your appointments, how you manage your calendar, and how you manage the deadlines for transaction. The best way to do it, again, when you train, you explain that each time, the timeline for each event and the transaction. Let's say the inspection timeline is within 10 days. If you're in an attorney state, then what's the attorney review time gonna be? What's the procedure for that? Basically spelling out, if this happens on that date, then that happens on that date. Why do you need to have it? Because when the VA gets your contract with your TC, she can mark in the calendar the deadlines for completion of each task. Yeah. And that obviously makes your life easier and hers,
Exactly.
Yeah. So also explain that VA needs to provide the information to your broker. Any contract that you have would need to be sent out to your broker for review. If the broker makes any kind of requests or questions anything, VA may be able to track down what usually, because I also run a brokerage, just a side note, I also run a brokerage in Seattle, and our agents, when they use a VA, and sometimes what happens when they upload the documents in the broker mint and I go review the transactions, I type a note there that, let's say, missing initial, and their transaction coordinator picks it up and hunts down that initial from whatever party needs to initial it. So the agent is basically not interrupted in this sense. Looks like we have some questions there, right?
Yeah, let's do them. Let's grab some questions, buddy.
Yeah.
You have both VA and admin assistant. That's number one.
VA is a virtual assistant. So it can be anybody who's working virtually as a virtual assistant. So a transaction coordinator, ISA, administrator. Yes, this is all subsections of what a VA is. VA is a virtual assistant. Yeah.
All right, cool. Next question. If I hire a virtual assistant on a regular basis, is this person dedicated to me?
Yes, it is. Yes, this person will be dedicated to you. If you hire somebody for a full-time, this person is going to be 100% working for you. If you hire somebody for a part-time, let's say 20 hours a week, that person may be also working for another agent for 20 hours a week. So that person is fully employed, have a full-time employment. However, when we run into some obstacles, let's say you hire a VA for part-time, and then that VA also works for another client part-time, but then you decide to employ your VA for full-time, then you run into the problem, not exactly a problem, but an obstacle how to navigate, because now your VA is booked up 8 hours a day. So sometimes what we do, we allow some VAs, if they can provide a waiver that they can work 12 hours a day, they can. Some do, but some decide not to. So that could be an obstacle. So if you decide that you need somebody for full-time, I suggest you do that instead of booking them for a part-time for now and then hoping to upgrade it to a full-time. But the problem may be in the future that VA may not be available for a full-time. That could be one of those problems.
Yeah, I love that. And that I experienced super quickly when I hired a virtual assistant that ended up being amazing. After I fired two, by the way, Pavel. It wasn't the first one I hired that was great. Okay. But, you know, the cool thing is the two were like, it ain't happening. On the third one, she's still with me after 5 years, and she runs part of a whole operation, and she handles a whole bunch of other VAs. So she's amazing. I love her. I can't do business without her. Her name's Sandra, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I love her. She's awesome. And let's see, Michael's got, Pavel, if I hire a VA on a regular basis, got it. That was the answer. He also says, and what happened if the VA gets sick, Pavel?
Life happens. You know, if VA gets sick, let's say if it's just, you know, maybe like a flu or cold, couple days, we can, you know, she can do later a makeup shift later on. But it's the same thing like your when your in-house assistant gets sick at the office. You know, if it's more of a serious situation where we had somebody who was diagnosed with cancer and she needed to go through treatment, and obviously we provided a replacement VA. So that's another thing. If you, let's say, you know, hire a VA from us, since we already have all your systems and processes already, you know, lined up, we can easily provide a replacement who will take over. And, you know, you may want to do some up training, but not as much as extensively if you were to go and look on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but life happens. It's not robots. They do get sick, you know.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is when they get sick, you don't pay for when they're not working.
Exactly. You only pay for the hours, that are that they're working. And we have our proprietary software that we've built that you'll be able to see the time when they logged in, when they logged out, when they took a break, when they went on idle. And you can see the screenshots every, I think, like 2 minutes. This system takes a, you know, screenshot of their screen, of their computer screen. So you'll be able to see what she's actually working on or not working, for that matter. Yeah.
All right, cool, dude. Well, let's go back to your slide. What's on the next slide there, man?
Okay. Well, people ask me how long it usually takes to onboard somebody or to train. And we've estimated it. I mean, from, if you, let's say, to hire somebody on your own, you're going to spend about 80 hours on actually training and onboarding somebody, depending on the tasks. And what Virtudesk does, we basically consume that time, which means we do the training, because our training about a week for admin and about, I think about 10 working days for the transaction coordinator and executive virtual assistant, which is a little bit more expensive, but again, they actually come with more training. So an average about 80 hours, plus if you figure out how much time you need to onboard somebody. So if you are, let's say, go and hire somebody on your own, you need to estimate about 80 hours of training and onboarding. So 2 weeks, that person is not going to be able to provide any meaningful work for you. Just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that makes sense. Yeah.
And so if you go to Virtudesk, we make it easy. And because what happens, we receive about usually right now, especially during the pandemic, we receive about 500 resumes a day, which is crazy amount of people out of work.
So that's how we've been able to hire amazing virtual assistants lately, because people need work, and some other people have been dropping their really good ones. So
exactly,
we got lucky.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, those people who dropped there because of the the finances, they had to drop their good VAs, and they've been already picked up by somebody else. Now there's those people coming back to us to say, can I have my old VA back? And unfortunately, they may not be available.
They've been picked up by me.
Actually, you're right.
I picked up
You're right.
3. So.
Yeah, yeah. And we had people asking, can I get this person back? And unfortunately, it's not going to happen. So we need to provide somebody else. And we have to go back to square one and training that person, you know. So that's one of those things, you know. You need to consider that. Looks like we have more.
All right, let's go to the next slide because the next slide gives me the good stuff.
Oh, this is like if they want to get
Yeah, if they want to get the slides and they want to get the, you also have one thing that was requesting like a system for processing the VAs. You have that too. You sent it out last time, didn't you?
what are you talking about?
So if I need like a step-by-step process on maybe like outlining how to train my VAs, you kind of have like a step-by-step too. You showed it to us last time when we were how to hire and then how to train. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Everybody gets what you're looking at right now. So just go back to that slide.
Yeah. Well, if you guys need it, I'll be more than happy to provide it to you. So you can, you can send me a quick DM. Yeah.
Perfect. And then we can just,
and
you show me that texting number again so people can text?
Yeah. They can text right here.
Love it.
And looks like we have some questions here too.
All right, cool. Karen says she's used Fiverr before and she's used them for graphics agents. Do I recommend Fiverr VAs? I've used Fiverr for a while, and I use them for just like one-off projects. I found that their VAs from the ones that I was using weren't as qualified to give me what I needed, because the only reason, Karen, was they weren't trained specifically for what I wanted. And that was the difference here. These understand the real estate world, right, through Virtudesk, because Pavel is a real estate agent, he's an attorney, and he tested them out on himself first before he created this company. That's why I gravitate to somebody that understands the real estate world more. That's the only reason.
And looks like we have Stephanie's asking, what area good questions to ask when interviewing potential virtual assistants, tip on what to look for. And we have specifically come up with a list of what to look for when you interview people. So if you text to that leverage, if you text leverage to 31996, you will receive copies of the slide, which has interview tips on how to get things, what to ask. And also, Chris Morton is asking about the list of duties assistants can do virtually or typical things your VA do. Chris, reach out to me and I will send you a slideshow of with a list of duties. I have it. I just need to find it right here, but I'll send it to you. Just reach out to me. Pinky's asking, should it be ideal to hire 2 part-time VAs or 1 full-time VA? Depending on your finances, you can do either or.
Wait, I think I understand her question actually. All right, so it depends on what you want. If you want to split up and say, okay, I'm going to hire 1 VA that's trained really well on social media and marketing, and then 1 VA that's kind of going to handle my transactions for my business, like real estate, then Pavel, don't you think we could do like 2 VAs at that point? Because if they're trained specifically for those things, I'd want to split it up.
Yeah, we have people who have 5 or 6 VAs actually.
Okay, well, yeah, like us, right? We've got 11. So.
Yeah. So it's, you can have basically whatever your budget allows you. But again, don't look at it like, oh, then this is more of a liability. No, this is where you actually to grow your business. That's how you do it.
That's the key.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, Pavel.
Pinky's asking, what should be first step for hiring a VA? Pinky, if you want to reach out to Virtudesk, we'll be happy to speak with you and get you to interview some of the VAs.
You got it.
Let me show the website here, Pinky, so you can reach out. If anybody again wants the copies of the slides, I'd be more than happy to share them. When you manage your VA, I don't think I shared that one, but what to do with, I mean, there's some tips on how do you manage them. You need to have scheduled daily check-ins with them. Some of them, some clients require them daily start of day report and end of day report. I personally don't like start of day report because by nature, by my yeah, basically by my DNA, I consider myself like more of like a halftime coach, in essence that I look at things how they're going and I adjust in the midday of what needs to be done. So if it makes sense in the football terminology. So schedule daily check-ins. It's important because you actually are on the same page as far as what's going on. Use Skype or Slack, or you can use RingCentral Glip. For my team, we use Glip. It's a app by RingCentral. You also require weekly report on things that are done and things that need to be done. Also coordinate what tasks need priority and how much are you supposed to be spending on each task. For my other tech project that we have going on, we're working with a developer that he's in Eastern Europe, and we determined as far as how much each task is supposed to take as far as the time wise. So that kind of gives you an estimation, what you're expecting. If your VA is taking too much time on, let's say the task shouldn't take more than half an hour, and if your VA is taking it 2 hours to complete, that's not much leverage of your time there and money. So you need to kind of give an expectation of what you expect. So also make check-ins and find out if there's any problems and challenges that they have, and that you have a feedback from whatever needs to be done. As far as the tools, for managing the outsourced staff, again, this is just a list of tools that we suggest. Again, we don't endorse any specific company here, just providing you what's available out there, and those companies are competitions with each other, so there's no endorsement, obviously, but this is what we use. We use Skype, we use Zoom, like we use right now, Slack, appear in. As far as the project management tools, Trello is the best. Asana, I know Monday, it's not on the list, but it's there. And as far as the file sharing, some people use Google Drive, some people use Dropbox. We use both. We don't use LastPass, but just to give you ideas as far as what's out there.
Yeah, you hit them up. We use Trello. We still use Trello.
Yeah.
So, how do you deal with the different time zones? That is a very good question.
It's 15-hour time zone with Seattle. I'm in Seattle area. But they work on your time zone. Right. They work at night. And interesting things, when I first came to the Philippines, that was 2012, and I ended up in an area where major outsourced companies have their offices there, but I arrived at night. And the funny thing, I see a lot of people like 2 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people out there, and I'm asking my cab driver, what's going on? He's like, oh, they're all going for lunch. It's like, what do you mean? And he said, oh, they all work for the call centers, and it's lunchtime for them right now. That's why they all out for lunch at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. All the cafes are open because they used to working on at night, their graveyard shifts, because they work on American time. So it's not even an issue. And again, if you're looking for a VA by yourself, let's say you go to Fiverr or you go to any of the, onlinejobs.ph, whatever, you find a VA, let's say, great, perfect. Some may not be used to working on graveyard shift, and this should be one of the questions you ask, because I'm right now trying to communicate with one person in the Philippines. She's not part of Virtudesk, but but she has a hard time waking up on my time. So, but she's not going to be working for us. I'm actually communicating in a different manner with her. Michael is asking, Pavel, do you offer VA with German language as well? No, we don't. They're all in the Philippines, unless somebody speaks German, but I cannot guarantee it.
Yeah.
Stephen Lewis, can a TC be hired on a per transaction basis? No, they all work hourly, not per transaction. However, what you can do, you can, let's say if you're a brokerage and you have agents and you're charging your agents for TC per transaction. Let's say you're a brokerage or a team lead, and one of the value props you provide to your agents is a transaction coordinator. You can have hourly transaction coordinator and charge your agents per transaction, which will actually provide you more revenue. Just keep that in mind.
No, that's a great idea.
That's what I do.
I love it. All right, guys, can you put up? Can you? All right, you got it. So, guys, text leverage, just the word leverage by itself, without any signature, without your name, without anything like that, to 31996, and you should be getting the slides and a few other things there. And if you want to sign up for Virtudesk, what's the website, Pavel?
myvirtudesk.com.
myvirtudesk.com. That was easy there.
Yeah. And, you'll be contacted by one of our account reps. Most likely it's going to be James. He is here at the office in Seattle, and he'll walk you through on how to get things done. What the process usually, if you are signing up for Virtudesk, you sign the agreement with us, and our onboarding team contacts you for a preference call. At that point, they're going to figure out what kind of person you need. Either you prefer male, female, what kind of skills, and the preferred time for the interviews. What's going to happen then, they will send you profiles of VAs that are, fit your requirement. So it's going to be like 4, 5, 6 people, and there's going to be time slots for the interview on Zoom or Skype, and you interview, and basically you pick who you want. Just one of this thing I wanted to pinpoint, we had a person who signed up with us, and that person decided to interview. After each interview of the VA, that person decided to call past clients of that VA and verify, or like past employers. Let's say that VA worked at a different company before. Guys, we've done this work already for you. So basically it's redundant in essence. I understand your desire to verify that. That's perfectly fine, but it's redundancy because we already have done this job for you. We're more than happy to provide you the information of a past client of the VA if that past client agrees to their information being released. We respect everybody's privacy. That's why we cannot just simply give you the person's information without their prior consent, and the same courtesy will be extended to you. But it's just going to take a little bit longer for you to make the decision. But again, I personally myself, when I interview people, I make the decision right there on the spot whether I want it or not. Again, I hire quick and I fire faster.
Yeah, I think that's the important part, buddy. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did the first few times too when I hired a few VAs. You have to be sure that if it doesn't fit, you let them go, and then you find one that matches what you're looking for. Don't be afraid to do that quickly.
Exactly. Looks like we have some questions from Karen. Do they have access to your personal email box, or did they create a separate email box for them to use? Good question, Karen. I actually, yes and no. And I'll explain to you. My virtual assistant has a personal email box for her, so she can use it, and she goes, basically. And one of them actually has access to not my personal, but my business email, because she cleans up the spam I receive, and anything that requires my personal attention, she kind of highlights it that I look at it. Yes. Also to the calendar, it's important to have, if you're hiring an ISA or somebody who's managing your calendar, make sure you provide them access to your calendar. That way they can manage it, and you get notifications as far as upcoming meetings. Do you have them sign some type of agreement where they will not share if they're exposed to sensitive information like contacts lists, etc.? Yes, they are vetted through the rigorous background check process, which is on the level of, it's called NBI in the Philippines. It's National Bureau of Investigation. It's basically the FBI grade. They are cleared, and they know that if there's going to be a misconduct, they can be reported to this NBI, which means they can be blacklisted for any potential employment, and they will not do this. It's one thing. Another one, we are a U.S. company and we are located here in the state of Washington. We are fully insured for this type of occurrences. So, that's again one of the benefits when you hire a company like Virtudesk is, we are here in the States and we have extra protection layer because we are incorporated both in the Philippines and here in the state of Washington. We can go after and let's say if you hire somebody by yourself on Fiverr or onlinejobs.ph, well, your information, as long as your credit card information can be gone and you don't know where it's going. When you're working with us, we are here. We're stateside, and we provide extra security layer to your information. Is there a yearly contract that is required? No, we don't have a yearly contract. The minimum contract is 90 days because that's what usually, we kind of learned from experience that it takes about 90 days for somebody to be molded into your culture, into your office. So 90 days is usually what we require. Pavel, do you help with their resumes? I received 5 and 3 of them except for the education. The same except for the education. I'm interviewing tomorrow, Aaron Baxby. Aaron, I think our team helps them with their resumes, but I don't personally handle that, no. Selena is asking, within 90 days, can we switch VA if they assign VA? Yes, if the assigned VA does not work. Yes, Selena, you can switch the VA. You can basically request the replacement and can be done easily. There's no extra cost involved in switching a VA, and we have people who've done it before. Yeah. And tip to Aaron. Aaron, when you look at resumes, I understand in the U.S. People look at experience. In the Philippines, they have a different way of writing resumes, and we've done our best as far as educating them on how to tailor resumes to the American U.S. standard. Like in the resumes in the Philippines, they even put sometimes, their marital status. They put how many kids they have. They put, I've seen some of them putting their weight and height in their resume.
Oh, wow.
Along
that
with
I
the
didn't
picture.
know.
Yeah. So, which would be a big no-no in the United States. So we have to. So we spoke with them about that, so, but again, sometimes you may get something like that. Just don't be surprised. It's part of the culture.
Makes sense, dude.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Those are a lot of great. I think this is the most questions we've gotten, dude.
I know, right? Yeah.
I'm completing them up. All right. Well, anything you want to leave us with, my friend? There's still a lot of other questions here, but
let's say, do you have them? Do you do a KPA or can we do this? What's KPA?
KPA is a kind of like a disk profile, but yes.
Oh, yes. Disk profile. They do disk profile. Yes, exactly. Do your VA works from home or an office setting? Yes, they all work from home. And again, as I said, we have a software, timely software that, you can use to track them,
Yep. Agreed, man. All right. Pavel, anything you want to add here in closing? Anything that we should know here that you think is important that we may have missed?
Well, basically we live in this interesting time right now, guys. And all of us started to work from home, learn how to work from home. Virtudesk has been working from home for years now. And we have experience, we have the knowledge, and it's not unusual to us to do it. So our VAs work from home, and we have the infrastructure to allow them to work from home, which, and we see more and more people actually right now going towards the switching towards the VA because of our expertise of working from home, and and also because we know how to do it. We have questions from Jusu Kim. What is the starting fee for you to find a VA? Go to our website, Jusu, but we have a LCA special. It's $175. It's a setup fee. John Mahoney is asking, why should we hire your services over any other out there? Because we're the best. We have a great infrastructure. We have great training. And we are flexible with our pricing plans, where some of our competitors may not be so flexible. But shop around, and see what you like. You know.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I think there's two things that come to mind for me
Yeah.
personally. Number one is I love the way you train your virtual assistants. That's important to me, the way you guys do it. The back end is beautiful, easy to use, and you guys train them well for the systems that we have as real estate agents. Number two is you actually offer part-time,
Yeah,
and
we
not
do.
a lot of other people do. So that actually hits a sweet spot for a lot of agents.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the VA set up a drip campaigns and give them access to your leads and contacts? Yes. We use Infusionsoft, and we also use the KV Core and for the brokerage, and they do that. Yeah, you can easily set it up for the drip campaigns, and they actually train very good on that. So you can have your VA, do drip campaigns in the CRM, in your CRM. And the question to you: when the recording will be available?
You know
What's
what?
up with the T-shirts, bro?
Like my T-shirt?
You gotta have the T-shirt. Yes, the webinar is being recorded. Remember?
It's coming, dude. It's coming.
All right, that's good.
So this is being recorded, guys. Let
Yeah.
me just grab the YouTube link. If you're not already part of the Lab Code Agents YouTube channel, please subscribe. And when I put the link up there, do two things. Besides subscribing, I need you to click on that little bell so that every time we upload a video, you're notified by email. And let me put that up right there in the chat box. Here we go. All right. There you go, buddy.
All right, bro. Well,
Thank you.
we're almost out of time, so thank you very much, Tristan. And guys, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly, or you can text Leverage to receive copies of the slides. Or if you want to start, you would like to interview some of the Virtudesk assistants, you can again text Leverage, and but also you can go to myvirtudesk.com and schedule a demo call, and we'll be happy to take care of you.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. And everybody that was on here will receive the slides as well. Pablo, I'll email you the breakdown of everybody who registered just in case they missed it. We'll also it, all right?
Yeah, we'll send them out to them. Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day. Thanks, Pablo.
All right. Thank you.